Hey guys, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, it feels really nice outside. Fall is in the air.
Oh,
Brisk.
It's so perfect.
Slight chill.
Got to find your light jackets. Got to make sure you got that hoodie ready for the mornings.
It's like McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Yes. It's been
really
a long
am.
summer coming.
Well, we still have mosquitoes here, which is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
We can't even talk about the mosquitoes here because they're ridiculous.
Yeah. How many have we killed today? Oh
I don't
gosh,
know.
It's October.
It's like if they sneak in the house with you, they keep attacking until you kill them.
I don't understand why it's October and we still have mosquitoes. But anyway, fall in the mountains, not quite as colorful as I had expected.
No.
Seems like we're having a late color season, perhaps. I'm not sure, but
I think we're going to have a quick late change.
You think so?
Yeah. Maybe that's what happens with all the water.
Well, are you ready to get into another exciting case? We released the Zoo-Man episode. That was very
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then we had the Crystal Howl story, which was probably our most downloaded story ever.
Yeah, can I just say locally, that story exploded.
So thanks for supporting the podcast. And
Thanks. And it also reminded us, we had a conversation about when you do cover cases and, people are hearing it that we're actually involved in the cases. It means a lot. And, sometimes we kid around and we carry on, but we do respect the fact that there's victims, families, and everybody, left over from these cases.
yeah, we did get quite a lot of feedback from
We did.
some people who were involved, who knew Crystal Howl, knew the family.
Some
the
emergency
situation.
services
Yeah,
people.
So it was a fairly interesting case.
It was, and it blew the top off on our downloads. So thanks for that, guys.
Are you ready to get started with this new case?
I am. I hope
I'm
they download
excited
this
about
one.
this story. I think it's fascinating.
Yes, what little I've heard about it is very interesting.
One of the most notorious serial killers in West Virginia history wasn't even from West Virginia, nor was he born in America. But he made national headlines in the 1930s.
Okay, it was one of them damn transplants. Did some crazy shit.
Harry Powers had a great number of aliases. Cornelius Pierson, John Schroeder, and AR Weaver. Now, I'm not even sure what his real name is, though reportedly it was Herman Dreff.
Well, if that's true, I don't blame him for changing his name.
He was born November 17th, 1893 in the Netherlands. In the early 1920s, he immigrated to the United States, settling with his family first in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, then eventually moving to Quiet Dells, West Virginia in 1926, where he took work as a vacuum cleaner salesman.
Oh, I bet he got rich doing that.
Well, it's just such an odd or foreign thought of these door-to-door salesmen. That was such a big deal back then.
Yeah, and those
That's
guys
how you
actually
bought
made
goods and products.
made some pretty good money doing that. The ones that were good at it, getting a straight up commission off of, some of those guys made lots of money doing that.
Nowadays, I can't imagine someone knocking on my door trying to sell me something.
Well, I couldn't imagine knocking on people's doors nowadays.
Yeah, no shit.
The weird shit you would see.
Yeah. I do remember my grandmother buying a vacuum cleaner from a door-to-door salesman in the 80s when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
It was a rainbow vacuum. You remember those?
I remember the rainbows. Those were awesome. Very expensive vacuums.
One of the things I remember about the rainbow vacuum was that it had this area where you would pour water.
Yeah, it was how it filtered through that
almost
somehow.
Like a carpet cleaner, shampooer kind of thing. You could buy these different fragrances to add to the water. Because I remember my grandmother had lavender and all these,
So every time she vacuumed, you had this nice scent through the house?
It smelled like the carpet was dried in the sunshine.
Well, I want one of those.
I know, and those things last forever. I mean, I think she paid quite a bit of money for this vacuum.
Oh, yeah.
But she probably had that thing 30 years.
Well, that's part of their... I was actually a Kirby vacuum salesman for a very brief time.
Are you kidding?
Did you know that?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the selling points is its longevity. You'd be like, yeah, you can get a cheaper vacuum now, but you're going to buy a cheaper one over, so many years. You're going to end up spending similar money. You might as well have a high quality, crafted out of aircraft in, grade metal.
Are you leading a double life?
No, this was a lot. I wasn't very good and I didn't sell one. So it lasted for about 2 weeks.
I feel like I don't even know you right now.
But I know all about the Kirby's.
Who are you?
Yeah, and it's hard.
What did you do with my husband?
It turns out it's hard to get someone to give you $1,200 or $1,500 for a fucking vacuum cleaner.
No.
Yeah. You just gotta show them the tricks, why it's better. And I sucked.
So Powers was working as a vacuum cleaner salesman, I guess making his living, doing okay.
Traveling all around.
He was described as a ladies' man. By 1927, he had met and married a woman named Luella Strother. Now, she owned a farm and a grocery store, so had a little bit of money.
Okay.
Yeah. The pair met through a Lonely Hearts ad, which before Tinder, Match.com, eHarmony, it was the way to find a potential mate.
Yeah, could you imagine looking through the back of a newspaper for a date? Well, I guess that's no different than scrolling down a dating profile, right?
It was an advertisement, for those of you who do not know what we're talking about. It was an advertisement taken out in a newspaper, often seeking marriage or some other type of relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would write up an ad, kind of like your profile. Most of them didn't have a picture.
No, it's just words.
And different people would read through your ad and decide whether they thought you were interesting or not, and then they would write you a letter and mail it to you.
Okay.
So this could take quite a while to have a courtship going, right?
Well, could you imagine, though? It must be exciting when you finally met that person.
Probably.
I wonder if you could request a dick pic through the mail, through a regular letter.
I know. There probably was someone out there doing that.
Okay.
I have a feeling if there was a camera and a man with a penis,
then he was sending
some
dick
woman
pics.
was going to get a dick pic.
In the snail mail.
Yeah.
She's been waiting on 6 weeks for his letter to get here.
You want me to ask my grandma?
Yeah.
Next time we talk to her?
Okay.
Okay. Powers was about 5'4". He weighed 175 pounds, balding, and wore thick glasses. Now, I have looked at pictures of this fella, and I'm going to go ahead and float this out there. He's no Brad Pitt.
But you said he was known as a ladies' man.
He was a ladies' man.
So he might be a swooner.
But not because he was dashing and debonair.
Right.
But we will post some photos on Facebook, Instagram, so you can check him out. See for yourself what you think about him.
Yeah, I need to check him out.
He ran his wife's grocery store in Broad Oaks, which is a community in Clarksburg, West Virginia. And though Luella thought the couple was settling into marital bliss, Harry had other plans. And he continued placing those lonely heart ads in various newspapers and became a member of the American Friendship Society, which specialized in matching well-to-do singles. He was using the name Cornelius O. Pierson.
See, I love that alias.
The Cornelius is a great name.
Yeah, I want to be Cornelius.
Okay, we can start calling you
Cornelius Packer.
Corny Packer.
Corn Packer?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm going to have to pick another one.
So Cornelius Pierson, this semi-fake persona, was a civil engineer who was looking for a wife. For an annual fee of $4.95 for men, $1.95 for women, members got a listing of available matches, mostly widows and widowers, with a description of their most attractive features. Now, whether that was real or not. I mean, you get catfished online these days, but at least with social media, if you have someone's name, you can kind of stalk them a little bit.
Yeah.
Might find out some information, maybe find a photo.
There's no way to look into what they're saying now.
But back in these
then.
days, yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you're living in West Virginia and you're writing to women all over the country, you could tell them anything. They would have no idea.
They could tell you anything.
Right?
You just got to take them for what they say as truth in their letters.
I guess dating has always been complicated.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was people catfishing back then, too.
Where Cornelius Pierson's ad read, wealthy widower worth $150,000 has income from $400 to $2,000 a month. And, of course, he had his profession listed as a civil engineer.
So he's well-to-do, according to him.
He owns a beautiful 10-room brick home completely furnished with everything that would make a good woman happy. My wife would have her own car and plenty of spending money, would have nothing to do but enjoy herself.
I want to go stay with him, if that's true. That sounds like fun.
You would be his housewife?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Driving around in your new car with plenty of spending money?
A pocket full of money and new car. All you got to do is, well, not all, it's a hard job. But it sounds to me like she's not even having to do all the work herself.
She's just going to hang out and drink craft beer, 6-packs of craft beer. And I'm just thinking about if you were his housewife.
Try dresses on.
With all the plenty of spending money.
Yeah.
Well, according to the Postal Service, he was receiving between 10 to 20 letters a day from women all over the country.
So that is a lot, I'm going to guess.
Well, imagine if you're on a dating app and you're getting somewhere between 10 to 20 messages a day.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Interested persons.
That would be a lot today.
That would be a lot.
If I was on Tinder and like 20 girls in one day were like, hey, we should talk or whatever. Yeah, that would be a lot.
You would feel pretty sexy, huh?
Yeah, I'd say that dopamine would be popping in your brain.
Well, during this time, Powers started constructing some crudely, made structures on his property. Now, remember, he lives on his wife's farm. He started building what some might call a garage, but it was almost like a 2-level garage/basement type of structure, almost like a bunker.
Okay.
Because part of it was kind of underground.
And it was crude.
Yeah, it was very crudely built with cement, but just not what, not
all the right equipment and know-how.
So he's building this weird structure, and eventually he meets a woman through the Lonely Hearts ads. Her name is Asta Eicher, and she's a widowed mother of 3 who lives in Park Ridge, Illinois. On June 23rd, 1931, he traveled to go meet the woman and her kids, Greta, Harry, and Annabelle, telling his wife Luella that he had a business trip.
That lying dog.
Do you think when men go on business trips for women, this is what they're doing?
Well, I think
they're going to meet new families?
Well, I do think the people that travel for their job, be it the man or the woman, have that built. If it ever comes to that, they have that excuse built in. It always has to be that type of person that has 2 families, 2 full-fledged families, where they go away for weeks and see the one and go. They have to be the traveling such and such for business people, right?
Oh yeah, I actually know a guy whose father was leading a double life.
That's crazy.
He had the one family.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, and then a second family, in another city in North Carolina.
Just a family where he's had children with a woman and everything like that?
Oh, yeah. Kept up 2 households.
Yeah.
2 women. Was always working on some business trip kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a lot.
And eventually it came out.
Yeah.
How weird would that be?
That's very strange.
Here Harry is telling his wife Luella, got a business trip, and all the while he's traveling to meet this widowed woman and her kids. Now, when he arrives, Eicher was disappointed with the physical appearance of her beau. But his sensitivity, his romantic nature, and the promising income of $400 a month, plus all of the claims of royalties from gas and oil investments,
big nice house,
as he boasted about, it was all enough to convince her that he was a good prospect for securing a life for her, and her family.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of money back in the 20s, right?
This would have been 1931.
Oh, yeah.
So just entering into the Great Depression. We're at the kind of the beginning stages of that. Well, he had even shown up to her home with a bouquet of flowers. So he's really going out of his way to woo this woman. Eicher told everyone he was an old friend of the family as she's introducing him around town to people. I guess there was some stigma or kind of taboo about meeting people through these these
classified ads. Yeah, I'm sure.
These, what was it, Friendship Society ads?
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess today there's still a little bit of that with the online dating. Maybe it's a little more accepted than it was, but I still think some people get a little maybe embarrassed about admitting that's where they met someone.
Well, yeah, maybe it depends on the dating site they met on.
Yeah. Fat life. The widow had another friend named Elizabeth Abernathy, who happened to be a nurse, care for the children while she took off with Cornelius Pierson, a.k.a. Powers, for a few days, because remember, he's using his alias, under the guise that they were going to West Virginia to pick out a home for the new family. Powers knew the widow had received a large sum of money from the death of her husband, A few days later, Abernathy received a letter saying